Hello, everybody, and welcome into the National Signing Day recap. Let's jump right into it. So, Texas closes with the 8th class, 23 commits. Obviously, they can still add from here because this is early National Signing Day, but let's be honest here. Most of this busy stuff happens now. We might add another 2 to 3 guys I could see in the future. Unfortunately, we did lose Vodney Cleveland. That was expected. We said that in a video today, actually, we released about 9 a.m. Eastern time. And we said that on Monday that was going to happen. Corey Wells has still yet to sign. Auburn pursuing heavily there, obviously with DJ Durkin still at Auburn. So it's going to be interesting, how that works out for Texas if they're able to keep Corey Wells. At this point, guys, I think it'd be big to keep Corey Wells because Texas defensive line class hasn't finished out very well, honestly. We added Jamarion Carlton, which is a big signing, obviously, but it'd be nice to have Corey Wells into the fold as well. So let's go through these 23 commits. I will let you know which guys I like best in this class, who I think can get early playing time. Then I also want to transition over and talk about how Texas is going to handle the transfer portal. Sark already had some stuff to say about that, so we'll dive into that as well. The number one commit, in my opinion, that will have the most impact, and we're going to start with him, is quarterback Diabell. Obviously not going to play right away, but guys, I do think he passes KJ Lacey. I do think he plays as a sophomore after Arch Manning leaves this year, a redshirt freshman. Maybe Arch Manning does stick around, which will help Diabell even more, in my opinion, get inside 2 years behind Arch Manning. But I think this guy, and I've said it, has just as much upside and will be ready to play earlier than Arch Manning was. That's what I believe of Diabell. I think he's really mechanically refined, obviously coming from another professional athletic background with his dad, Raja Bell. I think he's a good athlete and can move out of the pocket a little bit, but the guy is a very good, precise passer, and I really like him. Obviously, 5-star. Let's move over to the running backs, and you get Derek Cooper and Jet Walker. 4-star Derek Cooper, 3-star Jet Walker, who we got, recently, guys. 3-star commit out of Texas, stays at Texas. I like him. I don't think he's going to provide a lot for Texas right away, and he may not play at all at Texas, to be honest with you, but I think it's a nice fill-in for this class. Derek Cooper, on the other hand, really like. I love the physicality that he runs with. I love that when you watch his tape, guys, it looks like he's angry at the ground when he runs. He looks like he wants to just punch holes in the ground with his feet. Very, very physical player. I really like him, especially if we get down to a downhill type running scheme. Going to be interesting if we actually set in stone a type of running scheme while he's on campus, because we haven't really done that. Let's move over to the wide receivers and tight ends. We end up with 2 wide receivers in this class, and Charlie Gillette, who actually just came over from Minnesota, not transferred, but flipped his recruitment from Texas or from Minnesota to Texas. 3-star kid. I actually like the body type of this guy. I think he's going to be able to be a pretty well-rounded tight end on campus. Again, not right away. I think you're going to see junior year. I think you're going to see this guy pop. I think he will play in the NFL one day. I'm pretty confident in that, just given the body style and type that he has, the way he's able to catch the ball, the way he's a willing blocker, just needs to put on a little bit more weight. Chris Stewart and Cohen Brown. Chris Stewart is a speedy guy. This is getting back to the Xavier Worthy type of mold. So I like him. Cohen Brown, another 3-star. We'll have to see. Out of those 2 guys, I don't really see either playing for a year or 2, honestly, guys, in this crowded wide receiver room. But if I had to put my money on someone, I put my money on Chris Stewart. I really like Chris Stewart as a prospect. Move over to the offensive line, which when we get in the transfer portal stuff, to me, this is where Texas is going to have to nail it in the transfer portal, because we only end up with 3. John Turntine, I love. This is a guy that I think can play inside or outside. I think he can play right away if we can get 15 good pounds on him. If he's 295, 300 pounds, I think he can play right away in the SEC, because he's got good mobility, good hands, and he plays with a lot of physicality for a size, even though he's only 280, 285 pounds. Nicholas Robertson is the complete opposite. This dude is huge. We're talking 6'6", 6'7", 350 plus pounds. Not going to play right away, but I really like his high upside potential here. And then another guy that we kind of, took in late here, Caden Schreier. And I like him, but again, he's going to sit. In my opinion, Nicholas Robertson has the highest upside of this group, but I think John Turntine is the one that you could see play right away. I think, again, this guy puts on 10 to 15 pounds. He could play next year, and I don't think it'd be a problem. Later in the year. Early on, he might struggle a little bit. Defensive line, I love the high upside of this group. James Johnson, 4-star. Richard Wesley, 4-star, 5-star, depending on the service. Jamarion Carlton, upper 4-star. These are all top 100 players. These are guys with a ton of upside. I think you could see two of these guys play right away for Texas next year. I really like James Johnson. I think he can play right away. And I think Richard Wesley can have that Lance Jackson type of impact where you'll see flash plays, but you only see him out there 5 to 10 plays a game. I think Jamarian Carlton you will see in the later half of next year, but not early on. But I think Richard Wesley and James Johnson could play pretty early on for Texas. Not a lot, but again, 5 to 10 snaps, help those guys out. And we're going to need him to at this point, guys, because if you don't get Corey Wells in here, like I said, you already lost Vodney Cleveland. And it's kind of a thin room. It's definitely not as thin as last year. You're still going to have Alex January. You're still going to have Justice Terry. You're still going to have Murad Watson, and you'll still probably have Hero Canoe. That's a really good foursome on the inside guys, as well as Josiah Sharma and Myron Charles, plus these three guys, two of which I think Carlton probably starts out on the edge but slides inside at some point. Richard Wesley's an edge player, and James Johnson will also be on the interior. So, I mean, a sixsome of James Johnson, Jamarian Carlton, plus the other 6 guys named, so actually 8. That's actually really, really deep, guys. That's probably one of the most deep rooms on the team, if not the deepest. I really like it. But again, when we get into the portal stuff, I think Sark said something very interesting there. Cornerback and safeties, Hayward Howard Jr. to Ray Davis was also a late ad, but a really good player. I really like him. Versatile back there. Samari Matthews and Yaheem Riley, 3-star. Guys, I'm going to be honest with you. I think there's a chance the 3-stars here could actually be better than the 4-stars. I like Ray Davis. I like Yaheem Riley. I like the versatility from both of them. I think there's a chance they actually play over the 4-stars next year, though I do really like Hayward Howard Jr. and Samari Matthews. I think they're big, physical, long, lengthy cornerbacks. I like them both. I think they will both play at Texas. I don't think it'll be next year, most likely, but I think there's a chance for Ray Davis or Yaheem Riley to play at that nickel spot as Grayson Littleton moves to the outside. I really believe that. We'll have to see, but those are 2 guys I would definitely keep an eye on. And then we'll get over to the specialists because Texas actually killed it with the specialists, guys. You have Mikey Bukakis, Jake Collette, and Trot O'Neal at the long snapper position, all inside of the top 5. Mikey being a punter, Jake being a kicker, both top 5 at their position. Yeah, they're 3-stars, and it brings down the grade overall, but I really, really like what Texas did here. I think you're going to see all 3 of these guys play at Texas. I don't really see them transferring out. I think you may go get another kicker for this 1 year, and then you're going to see Jake Collette take over. I don't really love having a freshman kicker with a team that I think can win a national championship next year, and I would not surprise me. Again, we get a 1-year type of rental player like Mason Chipley, but I expect this guy to kick 2 to 3 years at Texas and then hopefully move on to the NFL if he's good enough. Now, that wraps up the class. Like I said, 23 commitments, 8th class in the country this year. Corey Wells is still out there. There's a couple other guys that are under the radar that Texas is still talking to. We'll have to see if those come to fruition as well. Unfortunately, Chris Henry Jr., I know Texas fans wanted him, hasn't signed. I don't see him coming to Texas. Aaron Anderson, Mama wanted him to go to LSU. He went to LSU, not going to be in the class. Now, let's jump over to this because I think this is very interesting. So, Ohio State, 7th in the country this year, guys. Georgia, 6th. When is the last time Texas, Georgia, or Ohio State was not part of the top 5 in the country? Been a very long time. It's been over a decade and a half that I think that's happened, guys. And the reason why is this, in my opinion. I think Texas is going to go, just like most big schools now, and I believe this is the way to do things. You get 5 to 10 guys that you put up on your board as, I really need this guy. We're going all in on this guy. You'll land 4 or 5 of them, just like Texas did in this class. I think the guys on that list were Thea Bell, Derek Cooper, Tyler Atkinson, John Turntine, and Richard Wesley. I think those were 5 guys, and you might even throw James Johnson, Jamora, and Carlton in. Of like the 10 guys you really want, you get 4 to 7 of them basically, and then the rest are going to be guys for depth, 3-star guys that are willing to sit 2 to 3 years and then be developed and play for Texas. And the reason you do this is because the guys that will play right away will play right away. The guys that will sit for multiple years and be fine with it because they're getting paid and they didn't really expect to play right away anyways. And instead of going to a USF or West Virginia, you're getting paid and getting developed at Texas, and you eventually get to play. And then you fill in the rest with transfer portal guys that can make an instant impact next year to go win a national championship. I think you're going to see that strategy start to happen across the country. I think you saw it for the first time this year because of, all the rules put in place with NIL. And I think it doesn't make any sense to go get someone like a Felix Ojo and spend $500,000 a year for him to sit. Guys, Felix Ojo was not going to come in here and play year 1 at Texas because of the SEC. Now Texas Tech, it makes a little bit more sense because he might be able to play in the Big 12 year one. I still think he struggles mightily his first 4 to 5 games of the season if he does that, but he might be able to do it because the defensive lines are not the same. At Texas, he was going to have to sit, in my opinion, for at least a year, maybe 2. Does not make any sense. Give the $500,000 plus another 100, 200,000 to some guy that can come in and play right away and play at a high level to compete for a national championship. But I think that's what you're going to do. You're going to pay a lot of money to really good guys in high school that can play right away and be in the rotation. You're going to pay a little bit of money, but more than they would get at smaller schools to sit on the bench and develop for a year or two. And then you're going to pay even more money in the transfer portal to get guys that can play right away, only be here for about a year to fill that gap, and then go off to the NFL if need be. So that's what I believe the strategy is going to be for Texas, Ohio State, Georgia, Oregon eventually. I don't know why they went high school this year, or maybe they don't. Maybe they just stay with that. USC went crazy in high school. We'll see how that turns out for them. I personally believe now if you can keep that roster together in 2 to 3 years, you can win a national championship. Are you really going to be able to keep that roster together? I doubt that. So we'll have to see. I don't really love that way of thinking. But again, it's kind of cool. We get to see all these little experiments all across the country to see which one works. Next up, Steve Sarkisian talked about the big portal needs that he sees. He says all offensive line. We all see that. We put it in a video. We said top 5 portal needs about a week and a half ago. Offensive line was in there for me. Interior defensive line was not. That was the second one he mentioned. I'm surprised by that. Like I said, guys, we have 8 guys in there that I think you could argue 8 for 8. If you just put those 8 interior guys versus any other 8 in the country, I think Texas might have the best defensive line interior. So maybe you go out there and you get one really big time name that can just, be a first, second round pick, because maybe we don't have that, even though I do believe Justice Terry will be that. Maybe he won't be next year. But I kind of question that when I do. I'd like to know your guys' comments. Let me know. Do you question that? I don't really see the need there. That's just me. Linebacker, we also said in that video, completely agree. You got to go get a big guy for a 1 year. Just go pay someone out the ass for 1 year, guys. That's how I feel about the position. I trust Leon Golafau. I trust the other guys in that room. Tyler Atkinson that's coming in. Kosi Akapala that's coming in. Trey Moore's going to be gone, though, too. So do you really just trust Leon Golafau just to be your number 1 linebacker? I personally don't. I think Tyler Atkinson's a year out from being that. So I completely agree. Go and get a big guy there. I completely agree with that strategy. Secondary, again, completely agree. I trust Grayson Littleton. Definitely trust him. I trust Cade Phillips. So you got 2 cornerbacks, 1 cornerback spot open, either the nickel or second outside cornerback spot. Then you have safety, Jonah Williams, Derek Williams, Xavier Philsamy, other guys back there. I think you're going to get one guy that stands out and will take over one of the safety roles next year. Who takes over the other one? I don't know. So I agree. I would go get 1 safety and 1 cornerback just to be sure. I would get 1 heavy hitter at one of the positions. Whether you go and get an Andrew McCuber at safety and go get a lower level prospect at cornerback, or whether you want to go get, Malik Muhammad type, if you get someone like that in the portal, or pay a crap ton to keep Malik Muhammad, and then you don't really have to worry about it. You got to get a heavy hitter at one of those positions, so I agree with that. And then running back. I've been saying this for over a year. I've gotten hate for it. Trey Wisner's not a number 1 running back on a championship team. Cedric Baxter, because of the injuries, no longer is. And there's no guy in that room to me that can. Derek Cooper's not coming in his freshman year and being a number 1 running back on a national championship team. I think you could argue he could be a number 2 if everything goes right, but I don't want to be flipping coins at that position again. I want a heavy hitter. You're the University of Texas. We've had Priest Holmes. We've had Jamal Charles. We've had Bijan Robinson. We've had countless guys, Earl Campbell's, Ricky Williams, Cedric Benson's. We should not have to say Trey Wisner. No offense to Trey Wisner, but he's not that. He's not of that ilk. So go get a heavy hitter in the portal. They can be there. Kenneth Walker came out of the portal. Look what he did to that Michigan State program. He got someone a raise because of how good he was. Texas, get that heavy hitter. Again, guys, let me know in the comments section some of the things you liked that I said, some of the things you didn't. Who is the best recruit Texas signed? Who would you like them to sign? Who in the transfer portal would you like Texas to sign? And as always, guys, hook 'em.